I need to rant, guys. I need to get this excitement out of me and talk to somebody. So you, yes, you watching this video right now, please stay because I need someone to share this with. To give you guys context on why this is so exciting, exotic cars and special rare cars here in Alaska. Growing up here as a car enthusiast in Alaska, and I bet you guys can relate to this if you're just in a kind of a smaller, more low-key town somewhere in the world. You don't really see a lot of exotic cars. You don't see those like special crazy builds that maybe you see on YouTube or you see in movies and stuff. Like, you don't see your dream car a whole lot of the time in these like small towns. And the only time you're gonna see a really cool car is like maybe one out of like five, like maybe every other 5 years you'll see something cool, or like you have to be on vacation like LA or Vegas where you're like confirmed to see something cool. And I don't think that's because we don't have a lot of money up here in Alaska, because we do. Like, there's a lot of oil, there's a lot of gas up here, so there's a lot of wealthy people up here. They just spend their money on different things, like things that make sense for here, you know? A lot of people don't want to spend like a bunch of money on a car that you're only going to drive for 4 months out of the year. Usually you're buying an RV or a side-by-side or like a cabin or like another house in a warmer state, to be honest, like somewhere you can go to get away from the Alaskan winter. So there's a lot of factors that come in to play here, like why there's not a concentration of really exotic fancy cars here. Another issue you have is just shipping them up here is already a hassle in itself, and it's like if you're not mechanically savvy, say like you have a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari or something, there's no dealerships up here. So if you're gonna get that thing serviced, if you're not working on it yourself, you're sending that thing out to Seattle to get that thing serviced and to get that worked on. Then you have to barge the thing back up to the state. Like, it's a hassle owning an exotic car here. So there's a lot of factors going against you. But lately, this summer, more than I have ever seen in my entire life, we have a really strong concentration of exotic and rare cars. And it's literally as a summer, they're all popping up. So I have a list to present you guys and to share with you guys. And hopefully you guys can appreciate this list as much as I have, because I've worked pretty hard to find all these things. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So starting off strong with number one, we have the Ferrari 599 GTB. And this specific car is really special to me for a very number of reasons. But the first reason, like the car itself, the 599, it shares the engine, the naturally aspirated V12, with, in my opinion, the greatest car ever made of all time, the Ferrari Enzo. So that in itself is already incredible. But it's my personal experience with this car now that makes it number one. Not only is it a Ferrari, not only is it up here in Alaska, but I've also gotten to drive it. And I made a whole video about this whole experience that you can watch right now. I'll link it like at the end of the video or right here, however that works. But the owner told me about this car, which was already crazy enough, learning that we had this Ferrari up here. But then he also invited me out to come film a video with it and actually drive it. As a Ferrari fan, obviously seeing one is just incredible and just makes your day. But it was my first time driving a Ferrari, my first and only time so far driving one. So altogether, the car itself and the experience I have with the car is just, it puts it in number one. And it was just such a fantastic experience. And I made a fantastic friend too out of it. And this is really cool. He gave this to me. He gave me a Hot Wheels, or I don't know if you guys can hear me. He gave me a Hot Wheels of the car. So that's a 599. And then he also gave me this. He buffed his car, but he never put it back on. But that is the Design by Pininfarina badge. That's almost on every single beautiful Ferrari. So I own a piece of a Ferrari, so that is really cool. So obviously, number one, the car itself is just incredible, but also the experience and the memory I have with the car is also just incredible. So that's why it's number one. So number two on our list, a Ferrari 308 GTB. And this car is really unique and special to me because it's like, not only is it in Alaska, which is already unique and special enough, but the fact that like the neighborhood it's located in, it's street kept and it's in a very average, normal American neighborhood. So it's like the stereotypes, like exotic car owners, they're in like Beverly Hills, they're on the hillside, they have the nice house, they have all the wealth. But like here, it's like pretty average neighborhood. You would never like suspect that this person probably owns a Ferrari. And it's like funny because I feel like it relates to a lot of us, at least me, I'll speak for myself, but like car culture in general, for me, it's like we like nice things, but like I'll settle for the okay house, I'll settle for like the okay clothes and shoes, but like I need that like dream car, I need that special like Ferrari for me. So it's like this photo right here, like I feel like really captures that. It's like average okay house, but I have a Ferrari, so I've made it. This person's winning in my opinion. I like how they have their priorities straight, so that's why it's on to number 2. So all the cars and the photos I'm about to show from here on out are actually not my photos. I have not seen these cars in person. These are all photos that have been sent to me or are just going around Alaska right now. So I just want to clarify that. But on to number 3, we have actually 2 Ferrari 360s this summer that have been spotted. And kind of like that point I was trying to make earlier where it's like, I love things that remind me of my dream car, the F430, and this car came right after the 360. It was built upon the 360, so it's really cool to see that we have 2 up here, and I want to be the first one with a 430 up here, but I don't know, there might be a 430 up here already. The fact that there's already 2 360s is kind of mind-blowing and really cool. And this red one looks like it's lowered, like it's just so tasteful, man. It's so classic, the red over tan, but the yellow one's also really impressive too. I'm not really a big fan of the yellow Ferraris, but the fact that it's in its Spider version is like really cool. It's like the Spiders, I believe, are a little bit more rare than the Coupes, but yeah, number 3, Ferrari 360s. So the next car we have really blew me away. Like when I opened my phone and like saw this, it was just like, which is mind blowing. But this is a Ford GT, and I feel like it needs no introduction. I mean, if you're familiar with cars at all, you know the Ford GT is just an amazing car, especially the 2005 Ford GT. And it's like, there's not many cars in the community I think we can all agree on, but like, it doesn't matter if you're an import, American, does not matter. We can all agree that Ford GT is just an amazing car. And back to that point I was making at the beginning of the video, it's like, growing up here, it's like you did not see cool things like this. So it's just so exciting to know we have something so like, so special up here, like a Ford GT. And by the way, you guys are probably wondering, like, Jack, how the hell do you know that's up here in Alaska? Like, couldn't it have like been somewhere else? Like, no, Anchorage, Alaska. Alaska in general, our towns are super small, so it's everything's super recognizable. I know exactly what street that is by the artwork in the back. But yeah, Ford GT, that is incredible, man. And it like, how does something like this fly under the radar? Because again, such a small community. It's like you think people would know about this, but they don't. Like, these guys don't show up to the meet, man. It makes me wonder, do they have like a secret society, a secret club they're all going to, man? Because that is really impressive, like how you're able to keep that, you know, on the down low. But that leads me to our next one, which is pretty incredible in itself. And again, like kind of backs up maybe my theory. I don't know, that there's a secret club going on, because man, I don't see these guys anywhere around town. So the next car on our list is the Lamborghini Diablo, and we actually have a few Lamborghinis up here. We have 2 new Huracans, we have a Garlotto that I've seen before, and we actually had a Countach up here in the 80s. So that's really cool. But the Diablo, again, it's like, how the hell does this thing stay under the radar? It's just so flashy, it's so iconic. You know it's loud because it has that 6-liter V12 in it. But I don't know, maybe I haven't seen it on the street because it's on the trailer. Who knows, maybe it's like hella broken. It's been broken for a while, but I like how it's in the winter too. Like, you can tell this is like shot in the middle of the winter. It's back on a tow truck, so it's like, I really want to know the story behind that. But anyways, this is gonna be the shortest entry because I want to get into the really juicy stuff, the rumors. So the big rumor floating around Alaska right now is that we might possibly have 2 Bugattis up here. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know that sounds crazy. And I'll just say this right now, get this out of the way. I do not have photos of these cars. No one has photos. This is purely by word. And there's something that's making me somewhat even give this thought. And it's the fact that I've heard this now from 2 different sources. And I'll go over the first one right now. This is also my friend. I'll just take a little text blurb and show you guys right now. This kid and I was talking today and swore that he saw a green and silver Bugatti Chiron on the Seward Highway. That's the first time I've ever heard of that, and it sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And it's funny because we were just going back and forth, and we were just talking about it. Like, is this really a possibility? I mean, the kid does sound like he knows what he's talking about, apparently. And it was cool because I brought what I know about the other Bugatti. I'll put that in quotation, the other Bugatti. And so I gave him now the next story. And this, by the way, this conversation right here, I'm not a part of this. This is just a photo that was sent to me. I don't know who's talking here, if they have any credibility or whatsoever. But anyways, there is a Bugatti Veyron on the hillside, and that also is a pretty wild claim. And I was originally thinking, okay, maybe they mistake the Chiron and the Veyron. Maybe they thought there were different cars, but the fact that what kind of kills that theory is they describe two different colors. Like one's black and white, and the other one has green on it. So it's a little weird that they're describing two different colors. So that would mean the chances are there are probably two different cars up here, a Chiron and a Veyron. But I think what's really particular interesting about this one text is, as you could probably already see, a Ferrari Enzo. Now that is a claim, and as I said earlier on in this video, the Enzo is the greatest car in my opinion. Like, if money wasn't anything, the Enzo would be the only car I would ever need in my life. So to think that there might be one 10 miles away from me right now, this whole time without me knowing it, just blows my mind. But again, there's no photos of the Chiron, the Veyron, or the Enzo. So it's really hard to believe. And it's like, you would think getting that thing off the truck, off the ferry, a lot of people will ship their supercars up here through ferries. Driving it at least one time. There's no photos of this? Like, that is just incredible to me to think that you would have these exotic, these beautiful cars, especially since it sounds like one's on the road. Someone over here is talking about seeing this car, a Chiron, actually driving. I don't know the context of the other conversation, but it sounds like he may have saw the Enzo and the Bugatti. And again, no photos. A little hard to believe. So, I don't know. It's a possibility. If you know anything about the Enzo, the Chiron, or the Veyron, please let me know. If you own any of the cars in this video, the 360s, the 458, anything like that, please reach out to me. I'd love to buy you a cup of coffee and just have a conversation. I mean, nothing brings me more joy than talking to these owners in their cars. I think it's just the coolest thing ever. But anyways, thank you guys for sticking around this long. Thank you for watching the video, and I really appreciate you guys listening to my rant. If you got this far, please like, subscribe, all that good jazz. And next week, we are going to be continuing the STI build series. We did run into a little bit of an issue, hence why there is not a video this week. So we'll talk about that next week. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.